hear a song you love, but it's so new or not super popular, so you can't really just search up the chords online? I'm gonna show you how to do that with Fadr's tools today. So we're gonna check out Fadr's chord viewer as well as MIDI extraction to get the chords and notes going on for any song you can think of. There's this new song that came out. It's pretty fire, in my opinion. It's called Move With Me by Sophie Powers. Sounds like this. Really cool song, really cool video. And yeah, it's super new. So if you try to search the chords, it's not going to come up. So let's say you couldn't figure out the chords by ear. Check out Fadr, right? So here in Fadr, I can go to Create, drop down to Stems, add this song right into here. And you can see here, it's made these stems already. This is included in the free version, which is awesome. So you can just get MP3 stems for free. Wave version, if you want to check out what's going on with the paid, but I mean, MP3s for free. Got these 4 main sections. You got the voice, separate from the drums, separate from the other instruments, separate from the bass. But the way I'm going to use it now, I already got these stems separated, and check it out. It tells us our BPM, 174 beats per minute, G minor, C major, G major, E flat major. Awesome. Right there, those are the 3 main chords to work with to play the song. For this chorus at least, right? You got C major, G major, E flat major. That's fun. And then there's different ways you can extract the MIDI from this to get different information from it. You can see what the bass is playing, what the singer's doing. So if I hit download MIDI here, it pulls it up into a zip file, which I've got dialed in. All right, so right here is the MIDI information you get from Fadr. And you got these MIDI files that you can add into your DAW, or even has this CSV file with the information on the chords in there, which gives it in this kind of play-by-play with this timing. In the chorus, it's like really just the main few chords I just took note of, right? It's just C major, G major, E flat major, E flat major. So I can kind of write that down, or I like to throw it into this app, iReal Pro, or even a Post-it note. Just take a note of that, saves me the time. If you couldn't figure it out by ear, you got this info right here, as well as the chord identifier of it going by. That's awesome. But then you also have the ability to download stems. You can get these main categories for free with the MP3. But if you want to get fancier, and like, for example, if I listen to these drums, let's say I wanted to use those drums as is, but add a different type of hi-hat, I could go to more stems. This is within the paid version. We can go to more stems, separate drums. Then it's going to separate the kick from the snare, from the other instruments in the drum kit, which is really cool in case I wanted to add in my own cymbal or something. So that's very cool. And then once that loaded, you can download the stems, download the wave files, and you're off to the races. So here's some of the MP3, which knowing those chords, you can play those chords as is or program in those chords, but you can do that in a number of different ways. Bring it into your own DAW, for example. Let's say I want to take these instruments and you drag them all into your DAW. So I can show you what that looks like once I've done that. So here I've added in the different instruments, right? So here's just the kick, snare, right? Right, so here are these drums. If I turn that off, then I have the ability to add in my own hi-hat. Lots of creative control for making your own covers or remixes of songs. And the audio broken up into stems, right? But you can also take the MIDI and then add in your own completely different ideas. For example, what I did with this one, I have the MIDI for it, right? So bass, other vocals, and then I'm able to add that in. So I just added this MIDI group where you have synth pad, bass, other. So this is just the MIDI that came from Fadr, but I just added different instruments into there. Of course, the singer as a MIDI might not pick up every single word, so then you can maybe add your own melody as a keyboard player or voice to it if you're a singer. Here's just those instruments again. Or if you wanted to, you could even turn off the vocal synth if you wanted to like add in your own melody on top of it. right? So that's a cool way you can use the MIDI extraction to work on your own cover ideas. One thing I wanted to do with this is to add my own like chord patches and a lead to this. So I just used the information that came from Fadr, which was that, you know, the main chord progression is G major, C major, E flat major, which even before I show you playing it as a keyboard player, even if you aren't able to play the keys, you can use those in some sort of arpeggiator type of thing. So we know from Fadr that it goes from, right, we have our main chords right here. Yeah, these are the main chords. It's just C major, G major, E flat major. So you can just take that information within an arpeggiator. For example, I play the G major chord. You write down what the G major notes are, GBD. C major. Right, so here's my arpeggiator settings within Ableton. That's 16, so you can set it to eighth notes, you know. E flat, G, C, E flat, pop that up to 16ths. Let's get that along with the track. Of course, if you want more control, you can go in and program it immediately instead of just relying on the arpeggiator, or you can play it, which I highly recommend. I recommend playing the keys. Just kind of playing those chords out with the info we got from Fadr. C, G, E flat. Yeah, maybe even adding the D note over the E flat major, make it E flat major 7, just to add that extra note. But you could hear and see in the melody, right? Because you got the MIDI from the melody, that a lot of the times the notes that she's singing for When You Move With Me are those notes B flat, C, G, G, right? So you can kind of play that. So when I played this lead part, I introduced that as part of the notes. I'm using the chords going by, right? So I go by C major, I'll play C major, G major notes, E flat notes. And I use some of the reference from when we extracted the stems, which is really cool. So check this out. You see how I can isolate just the other instruments from the audio stems we got from Fadr. It sounds like this. So I heard there's little bits of back and forth and kind of incorporate that into a lead part. It's mainly just using notes within those 3 chords we got from Fadr, right? So it's C major, G major, E flat. And then we just have this line here that she sings. Right there. You know that I love it, love it. And if you can't pick that out by ear, you even have that in the MIDI instruments for the vocal. All right, so you have the MIDI there showing you the notes to play for that. So I played that as part of my little melody I added later. But then, yeah, when you combine it using what you got from Fadr, you got this as a little rough idea, which, yeah, so I recommend either playing along with these songs you learn, find some songs you love, try to extract the chords, and then either play in these chords, or you can even program them if you're not ready to start playing keys yet. I hope you have a blast with this new technique. Let me know some songs you might be curious to try this out with in the comments. Hope to catch you in the next one. Check out what Fadr's got going on. Here's the final playthrough.
When you move with me.